that expired in 2015, 3 inches from my face. I will leave this video as well as all the other material leading up to this point in the description, but it's a lot, so I'll try my best to make sure that this video is accessible as possible. So what do SNEAKO and Destiny say in this video? Well, to be honest with you all, I don't think they say very much. SNEAKO, not unlike in the last reaction video he made about me, didn't really respond to any of the points that I raised. Instead, he again resorted to various forms of name calling.
Nobody gives a fuck about you. It's just another soy boy reacting to me like the fucking 5,000th one, giving me free content reacting to your fucking predictable bot ass.
Chest beating.
He's watching it right now. Noah Sampson, stop being a fucking pussy. Just talk on Discord. Oh my god.
And complaining that the video he had decided to respond to on his stream was a video that he was actually going to have to watch.
Bro, let's get him on the fucking stream. I don't want to hear his fucking whiny Wii Sports music then. Can I DM him real quick?
Softest, cushiest, fattest, wettest, juiciest, grippiest echo chamber on the platform. Babito. Her name's Bab. He seemed to be especially put off by the way that I took 2 minutes at the start of my video to give viewers adequate background context on the interaction. This channel has gained 400.
Get to the fucking point, bro.
SNEAKO haters are.
Get to the point. What's the? We understand what the. Everyone knows what.
Okay, you gotta get to the point, bro. Like, what are you responding to? You're responding to SNEAKO and Destiny, but like, what are you specifically responding to? Like, get to the point, bro.
Creepy.
Oh my god, see what I'm saying? It's a 51-minute video. They can't make it 2 minutes in. You guys don't know how to make points. That's why you need to make reaction videos and you can't get in a fucking call.
Nothing says I'm not triggered like not being able to make it through the intro without screaming. So this is all just very ridiculous and frankly childish stuff. You know it is, I know it is, so unlike last time, I'm not gonna spend any time unpacking it, not even for comedic effect, because it's not worth any of our time. No, in today's video, we're just going to go over a handful of things that were said that I thought were interesting and worth responding to, or at least worth talking about. It's not much, but I do think there are some things we can potentially learn here about how online discourse functions, about perception, and about how normalizing red pill ideology to hundreds of thousands of people online is probably not a good thing for any of us. So let's do that then. Right after a quick word from today's video sponsor, Harry's. Thanks. I love my mustache, but all the other hair all over my face, get it out, get it off, slice it off, shave it off. That's why I'm super excited to be sponsored by Harry's, because they make some truly amazing razors. So what makes Harry's so special? Well, there's plenty of things. Firstly, their blades are really well made and extremely sharp. Their Truman handle has this textured grip pattern. This guy can't make it 10 seconds through my video without having to pause it to call me names, as a middle schooler might.
I'm gonna call you a soy boy to your face. I'm gonna say that you talk slow. I'm gonna say that antidepressants fuck up your head and you all sound predictable.
And in what universe is that someone that I want to have a conversation with? From everything that I've seen of his live conversations, I have no reason to believe that he's even capable of having a productive discussion or actually ingesting new ideas that he doesn't already agree with. And I don't mean saying that he's doing that, because he says he's doing that all the time, but he never actually does it. Similarly, Destiny in this conversation, while certainly more attentive to the points that I was trying to make, that's a low bar to clear, but still, he sort of reveals a bit about his motivations when he makes a comment early on about how he likes bringing guys like me onto his streams because we're easy to beat up on.
Yeah, because I tweeted at him, because I love guys like that, because they're really easy to beat up on, but yeah, obviously he said, oh, I wasn't talking about you. I was like, okay.
Pussy.
And you know, he's probably right about this. He's been debate streaming for almost 10 years, and he's good at it, and I'm not. I haven't had great experiences in the debate realm, if I'm being honest. But
Why haven't you had great experiences in the debate realm, bro? Keep it a buck. Like, tell us the truth. Why? What have you done to, like, you know what I'm saying?
more importantly,
What have you done to not have good experiences?
my art, the things that I create, they need to be thought through and articulated on paper, because that's just how my brain works best. So that's why I made my video. I prepared my arguments and laid them out all nice, responding to SNEAKO's comments in chronological order. But then, before even watching it, before even hearing what they could have possibly disagreed with me about, they started blaring the trumpets for me to come online and enter the debate realm. And it's like, why? What are we going to talk about? My video is right there. You want me to join a Discord call and read a 20-page script over SNEAKO's clipping USB microphone screeches?
You are boring!
There were just way too many problems with the things that SNEAKO was saying in his response video for me to adequately cover it without a video of my own. So let's not lie to ourselves and say that having an honest conversation is what either of these guys were looking for. They were both looking for content out of the interaction in their own ways. And because it's their right to do as online entertainers, it's also my right to say, no thanks, I'll pass. If that makes me a pussy, then so be it. I've been
It's only gonna make you that if you think if you're not willing to contribute to the conversation, and if you believe it is as well too. But like I said, there's so many things involved, you know.
called worse things by smarter people. The second thing I want to talk about from this response video was the point regarding femicide and male on female violence. This point was brought up when SNEAKO showed that a girl in the original video had a podcast called Kill All Men and said that this was a double standard because he would never be able to have a podcast called Kill All Women.
But imagine if I...
That's a fact. If a man were to come out and do certain things like that, you know he's getting criticized. You know he's probably gonna get shamed. You know, and it's reality. Real talk. It's reality.
I had a podcast called the Welcome Back to Caw, the Kill All Women podcast. Suck my...
Now, after agreeing that this name was inflammatory and unhelpful, I went on to outline why these two things are still different. And to do this, I cited some statistics about global homicide rates. This is data from a 2019 United Nations global study on homicide. And while the gender breakdown of homicide victims in total was strongly slanted towards men, at 81% men and 19% women, as shown on the left, when it comes to gendered intimate partner homicide, this is and has always been overwhelmingly committed against women, 82% to 18%. To quote the study, these findings show that even though men are...
Now, like on a real tip though, if you as a man were to come out and make a podcast about killing all women, bro, you're done for. Like you cannot come back from that, you know?
the principal victims of homicide globally, women continue to bear the heaviest burden of lethal victimization as a result of gender stereotypes and inequality. So no, if you made a podcast called Kill All Women, this would not be the same thing, because femicide is already happening, and it's happening at the hands of men.
Stop, bro. Let's just say, for example, it is happening at the hands of men. You have a lot of women in this society that feel like it's okay for them to come out and disrespect men. But if you as a man were to do it towards a woman, oh, you're a misogynist, stop. You're a panderer. Noah, listen to me carefully, buddy. You're a panderer. You like to pander to women. You're not getting respect like that, buddy. All right? Being a weak, effeminate man in 2022 is only going to get you disrespected by women. You need to stand up let your nuts hang, and be a masculine man. Any guy just like you or thinks like you, bro. Real talk.
Men.
Now I'm just giving him more content too. That's the funny part. He's going to clip.
Damn.
Crazy white knighting, man.
How do you respond to that one?
He ignored the 81% men being homicide victims and like completely focused on the other ones to just feed his 50% female audience.
So no, SNEAKO, I didn't ignore the statistic on the left about men making up 81% of homicide victims globally. That statistic is irrelevant to the topic at hand because, well, who do you think is killing all of those men? It's not women. 96% of all homicides worldwide are perpetrated by men. We are talking about cross-gender violence here. And as I said before, on the whole, this really only goes in one direction. Violence like this is and has always been a distinctly male problem, which is why a woman having a podcast called Kill All Men just doesn't hold the same weight as the inverse. Only one of these things is representative of material reality, of existing social structures of violence, aka femicide. So because SNEAKO seems to be having some trouble understanding my argument, he turns to Destiny for some help.
What do you think about
Is that not you shaming right now? Listen to the way you're saying that he's turning to Destiny for, like, no. You're shaming now, bro.
that one? None of this is like, it's just...
I mean, the larger answer is that there probably is a difference, right? If I listen to a podcast called Kill All Men and Kill All Women, there's probably going to be a bit of a difference there in terms of what I assume that people are like when they say it.
Okay, but can we agree that killing people's bad? Like, why do you have to
Yeah,
bring
of
up
course,
statistics
but that's
to
a
try to
simple, that's like
defend
the
murder?
level one. Of course, obviously killing people's bad.
Yes, killing people is bad, SNEAKO. Thank you for your contribution to the conversation. But we're not talking about the morality of murder here. We're talking about differences in gendered killing. And when it comes to gendered killing, boy, are there some differences. Or should I say, men, there are some differences. Because it's men are killing everybody. Destiny goes on to outline a counter argument to what I'm saying here, to presumably help SNEAKO out.
The argument against what he's saying is that, like, if you keep normalizing this rhetoric, you get in a weird world where people are saying, like, kill all straight men, kill all white men, kill all men. But as soon as you make fun of a person that happens to be gay, all of a sudden you're like the worst person in the world. So I disagree with this overarching argument, but I mean, I understand what it is.
And to be honest, I don't think this is a very good counter argument. I think what Destiny does here is something called the slippery slope fallacy. The slippery slope fallacy is an argument. Yes, I'm going to define it. Sorry, debate fans. I'm new to all this stuff. Just Googled what rhetoric is. That shit seems cool. The slippery slope fallacy is an argument in which a party asserts that a relatively small first step leads to a chain of related events culminating in some significant effect. The small first step here is me acknowledging the material differences between violence perpetrated by men and violence perpetrated by women. And the culminating event, in Destiny's mind, is the normalization of rhetoric that promotes violence against men. But these two events do not necessarily follow, right? Saying that one of these things is worse than the others doesn't necessitate a promotion of the less bad thing. It especially doesn't when, at the outset of my argument, I specifically acknowledge that the phrase kill all men is bad, unhelpful, inflammatory, and should not be used. It's a bad name for a podcast, and I never said anything to the contrary. And Destiny knows this, right? He understands that there is a difference between these two things. He says as much in the conversation.
The larger answer is that there probably is a difference.
So why is he doing this here? Why does he take this poor line of reasoning to side with SNEAKO? Like, I get that this isn't even technically his response video. He's just there kind of hanging out. But still, that seemed a little bit odd. I don't know. Anyways.
It's not a good argument.
Well,
Okay.
Next, I want to play a longer clip from their video. SNEAKO is watching the TikTok that I showed of the 6th grade teacher talking about how Andrew Tate's sexist rhetoric is being used in her classroom. And I just want you to watch how SNEAKO reacts here.
I'm a teacher and I teach 6th grade. We've been in school for 3 days now, and within these 3 days, the amount of young 11-year-old boys that told me that they love Andrew Tate is ridiculous. This man is
Jesus.
really affecting the minds of young men. I had a boy today, 11, turn to a girl and tell her that she's fat, women need to be thin, she sits at home and she eats all day, and that she's like every other girl in the world, and that she uses men to get money. And at least he's a hardworking man and he works for his money. They're 11.
You know what the reality of the situation is? Probably the 11-year-old kid shouldn't have told that to his fellow 11-year-old girl. But the reality of the situation is that the 11-year-old kid wasn't lying. That is reality. He's not lying. But the thing is that the 11-year-old girl is too young to understand the reality of the way the world is. But that doesn't mean that she's not going to eventually end up being exposed to it. Because the reality is she is, you know?
Okay, you need to be aware of what your kids are watching, because this is ridiculous and it's really affecting kids.
I'm going to start being in this category. There's going to be teachers pretty soon saying this shit about me.
Young kids.
So SNEAKO, upon hearing this story, takes the opportunity to first brag that the thing that's happening in this video will soon be happening with kids echoing his words, and talk about how when this happens, it will be epic and base. The raging misogynist idolizes the more famous raging misogynist. Who could have seen this coming? Also, notice his reactions here. While the teacher is outlining the words the boy used, SNEAKO raises his arms up in a shrug, as if to say, I don't know, like, maybe the kid has a point, or something like that.
The kid definitely has a point. I admit that too. The kid definitely has a point, but the thing is that he's telling young girls who have no awareness of reality talk more or less about themselves, you know, or themselves talk more or less about reality. So I agree with him.
I would love to hear him explain what he meant by this, but I doubt he will. And another thing, note the reactions from SNEAKO's chat. Hundreds of people are spamming comments like W Tate, commentate W kid, all ostensibly in support of what the teacher said that this kid had done. But remember, we are the NPCs. We're the bots who repeat everything. That's us, always. The most frustrating thing here, though, is what they both say next.
That is pretty weird of an 11-year-old saying that, though. That's not some top G shit, okay?
Yeah, that's kind of funny, though. Do you think the guy was really taking it seriously, or did he watch some stuff and he echoed it?
That's always the problem with getting these types of things. Because, like, everybody bullies in school, but, like, is it different now? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not in a 6th grade classroom to tell.
I don't know. That kid seems pretty base to me.
So Destiny, after briefly pushing back on the idea that children hating women is epic and base, he goes on with SNEAKO to sort of downplay the probability that this sexist interaction could be anything
I don't think it's about hating women. I just think it's about understanding the reality of the world and allowing yourself to become the most masculine version of yourself. So when you do end up getting in relationships in the future or potential marriage, right, that you're not married to the wrong person. You're not played, because a lot of men are in marriages right now where they're getting cheated on, even though they're providing a lot to the table. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen to women, but like I've said before in multiple videos, I know I said before twice, guys. Men and women are addressed differently when it comes to loyalty. A man's loyalty is based off of him being able to provision for his woman, and her loyalty is basically seen off of her not smashing other dudes. You understand? Not saying that a man should smash other women, but as long as he's married to them, it doesn't really matter. And some people might be like, "Ugh, polygamy? Our forefathers did it back in the day." And the way society is going right now, where things are becoming a lot more expensive, majority of the women are only going to deal with the top 20% of men. So if that's what it takes, then it is what it is. It is what it is.
Other than run-of-the-mill bullying. And while it's true that bullying is something that's always happened in schools, and that it can be difficult to attribute the causes of this bullying to larger online trends, this immediate dismissal is still troubling to me, because it comes right after this teacher's explicit detailing of Andrew Tate's newfound influence on her classroom, and the out-of-the-ordinary nature of this boy's misogynistic comments that we know Andrew Tate has made. He says stuff like that all the time, and it's not like this is the first time we're hearing of something like this happening. Maybe it was for them, but there are plenty more examples of stuff like this happening all over social media. So again, if Destiny is supposed to be guiding SNEAKO away from the red pill shit, or taking him under...
You can't guide him even if he wants to. All he can do is advise him. You understand? There's a complete difference.
his wing or whatever, then this seems like an odd response. Now, I want to make one thing clear. I watched Destiny's appearance on Fresh and Fit with SNEAKO, and I thought he did well there, all things considered. It's why I feel like I'm being fairly lenient in my criticisms here, because I recognize the fact that the more pushback these red pill ideas face, regardless of where it's coming from, the better off we will all be.
Noah, woke family, that's cap. How will you be better off by pushback? Red pill is the truth. So what you're trying to say is that you don't want to be listening to the truth anymore. You don't believe that the truth is necessary for you to be able to level up and become the greatest version of yourself. Come on, man. You got to do better.
But in this video response here, he seems to be doing just the bare minimum. And whether that's because he's busy gaming, or just on good terms with this SNEAKO guy, or maybe because he just doesn't like me.
I hate this guy, so there's not much for me to say.
I'm not sure, but it doesn't really matter. The point is that doing the bare minimum can actually be pretty harmful when you're dealing with someone like SNEAKO, an Andrew Tate clone, a guy who just very obviously detests women and wants everyone else to do the same. A guy who can hear this story of blatant sexism that mirrors his own online rhetoric almost perfectly and say, well, you know, boys will be boys. Or I guess more specifically, wow, that is epic and based, dude.
I don't know, that kid seems pretty based to me.
So for me, one of the funniest moments in this response is when SNEAKO and Destiny both discover what the gender breakdown of my audience demographics looks like. This is my audience demographic breakdown by gender.
Yeah, it's very predictable. If you have a breakdown of this...
Holy shit!
If you have
is that real?
Yep. If you have more female than men watching you, that says a lot. Like, you could figure, just by looking at your audience demographic, you can figure out what you think.
They both reveal that they have nearly identical audience demographics at around 94% male and 5% female viewership.
Destiny, what's your split? Is it like 60%?
It's probably
men?
like my
40% female, 30?
No
30?
shot, dude. It's gonna be like 95.5. This is my fucking channel, dude. I sent you a DM on Discord.
Oh wow. Yeah, we got the same split. Holy shit.
This dude's wild. 93.3% male, 5.4% female. That's higher than I thought for women. Nice job. Good job, ladies.
And this is mostly funny to me because of the different ways that these guys interpret these statistics. Destiny takes the more business-savvy approach, expressing interest in potentially wanting to grow his following by changing his content to unlock this new untapped reservoir of never-before-seen individuals.
I'm about to do his content, man. I'm about to make hate videos on you. 1 second.
Go ahead, man.
50% women. That's wild.
Yeah.
SNEAKO, on the other hand, takes the old-timey misogyny approach by saying that having this audience breakdown means that I must not be funny because it means that women watch me and women aren't funny, you know?
That shouldn't happen for a man, but This is what I'm saying. Just like
Real
pandering
talk.
to
He's
women.
right.
This
He's
is humor. For, like, this is why you have a 50% female audience. Because women, like, your humor is just. This is humor. For, like, this is why you have a 50% female audience. Because women, like, your humor is just.
And that having a more balanced audience is the problem with YouTube today, unlike the good old days.
Every video is going to be about this, like misogynist, straight men, a safe space, petting my cat. You're very predictable. There's so many channels like this. This is what YouTube has become. People are tired of this fucking shit. That's why everyone was saying that they liked the panel from yesterday. It felt like pre-2016 YouTube. It felt like OG YouTube where people didn't give a fuck. People are tired of this shit.
People are tired of this shit, he says, while circling his mouse cursor around a demographically equal YouTube audience. You're saying the quiet part out loud there, man.
Demographically equal YouTube, like, bro. You shouldn't be having a high percentage of women watch your channel, bro. Unless you're trying to cater or pander towards women. But if you're trying to really grow your audience, it's going to be mainly men watching you, bro. And if more women than men watch you, there's a problem. No cap.
Women be shopping and not on my website, dudetube.com. I do want to ask though, like, if having a 50-50 audience split,
If you actually have a website called dudetube.com, then why are majority women watching you, Noah?
means that I'm pandering to women, what is a 95% male audience exactly? That's not pandering.
You're trying to, how are you pandering to men if you're trying to hold them accountable so that they can become the greatest versions of themselves? How is that pandering? Talk to me, man. For women, you can literally lie to them because if you're honest with them, they're not going to take it. Come on, man.
To the boys. I think one possible explanation for these statistical differences, besides the pandering one, is that only one of us tends to use language and rhetoric that might be a little more off-putting to a lot of folks. You know, like why 2s think they're 10s, and these girls live in absolute delusion, and why Ben Shapiro should run for president, and why there's only 2 genders, and why LGBTQ is hypocritical and kind of gross. What is all of that if not pandering to a male right-wing audience? Dunking on safe spaces is all fun and games until you accidentally build your entire identity around being unsafe. There are a number of times in this reaction where SNEAKO seems to suggest that he believes I've made my video response to him for clout, and that I'm attempting to capitalize on his rapidly growing channel to build my own audience.
At this point, you're gonna have haters that are like trying to build careers off of you.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about like responding to certain videos or talking to certain people and that people might try to like just bait reactions out of you for popularity?
Yeah, so after a certain point, it's not even worth, like, I've seen many channels, there's a couple of them that you know, like Papa John's and this other kid. I could look through their most popular videos and it's always SNEAKO's insane, SNEAKO's stupid, SNEAKO's losing this, and then they post their own reaction videos, their own personality, nothing. So I know how tight it's making them that I could just ignore them and they try their own shit and nobody gives a fuck. So it's better to just not respond. This guy, it's like after this video, and if like right now he's ducking like even getting in a call, I'm never gonna speak about him again. I'm gonna try to see if he makes his own good content, but we already know low IQ, slow, boring, no one gives a fuck. So this is a minor amount of clout, and nobody who's here in the stream is really gonna go watch his videos. They already know his opinion. He's not gonna say anything like unpredictable. It's stupid.
I saw this sentiment parroted in my comment sections as well. Cloud Shark, Drama Farmer, and so on. And this is funny because, well, if I'm remembering correctly, SNEAKO is the one who made a video about me first, right? He put out that hour-long live stream and subsequent YouTube upload reacting to my content, all because I played 30 seconds of video footage of him without even providing any commentary in a video that wasn't even about him. So I'm really confused by this. Like, SNEAKO, if you don't want to have to respond to my videos, then stop making videos where you watch my content. It's really easy to do. And if you're unwilling to do that, then stop complaining that I'm responding to the things that you are saying about me, especially when those things are sort of just silly and crazy and easy to make fun of. I think probably my favorite point in this response video is this moment where SNEAKO responds to a compliment that I gave him. While setting up a point about how his content has changed for the worse and how I'm not the only one to have noticed this, I acknowledged that some of his older videos that I'd watched when learning who he was were actually pretty entertaining, but he didn't seem to take this compliment well.
I've never heard detailed, really good questions like it's complicated. He asks the best street interview questions I have ever seen, and I do this shit. I do this shit professionally.
I know you do, SNEAKO. I've seen your content. I actually quite like some of the street interviews that you've done. I think there are times
I have never heard of your content before this fucking video.
when you've been able to humanize
He's giving you a
the
compliment.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah, keep following me. My videos are better than yours.
people you come across. So yeah, just incredible stuff. He clearly needs to prove something to everyone, that he's better than me, I suppose. And the best way to do that, as we all know, is by saying it out loud. SNEAKO's ego is so starved for validation that he's incapable of allowing me to make a single concession without immediately pouncing on it as proof of his superiority. But apart from it being kind of funny and fun to watch, I do find it a bit sad, if I'm honest. He's been YouTube famous for the better part of a decade. I don't know why stuff like this still affects him in such obvious ways. Why he can't just allow someone else to give him props for his art, because he feels like doing so means that he's showing some kind of weakness. I don't know, but it is odd, and I hope he can figure it out. Anyways, the last point I want to bring up is a response to a comment that SNEAKO makes towards the end of his video. I am again talking about how his audience's perceptions have changed over time. And I think for a lot of your fans of your older content which seem to mostly avoid this sort of thing, seeing you fall for the bait is a sad thing to watch. When they tell you that you fell off, they're not talking about your subscriber counts or your TikTok views or anything like that. No, you're doing just fine on that front. They're talking about the quality of your work. They're telling you that your content no longer moves them in a way that it once did. At least that's what it seems like.
Yeah, to soy boys. So I'll just leave you in the past. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna keep doing this shit, and your dumbass is gonna keep watching it. It's like...
He's not wrong, though. SNEAKO's not wrong, for sure. You're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna have negative things to say about your content. If you don't like it, click off. Click off.
Go analyzing it because you love it. It's entertainment. Keep watching. Put in the Joker thing. You need a villain. You need somebody to hate. You gonna keep tuning in while I keep turning up, pussy.
So what do we make of this response here? Well, first I want to acknowledge the truth in that statement, which is that yes, as we grow and change as creators and cover different things over time, we're going to lose different parts of our audiences. That's always been how things go. It's part of being a content creator and building and sustaining an audience, and that's fine. But SNEAKO isn't just saying that here. No, he's saying that the people that don't like the direction he's taken are all soy boys. He is ascribing a label to them, an ideology, in order to dismiss the fact that they may very well just be genuinely repulsed by the things that he's saying, by the red pill rhetoric he is constantly espousing on his channel. And that's a bit patronizing, right? To dismiss every person that doesn't love this misogynistic wailing video after video by grouping them together with some negative identity, with some declaration that they're bots, they're programmed and unable to think for themselves, unable to tell when someone is just being a little bit of a goblin. That short clip to me says more than anything else that we've looked at in today's video. It's why I even decided to make a response, because it is just haunting. His total inability to self-reflect, to look at things from a wider lens and listen to the people that feel alienated by the things that he is saying. Yes, SNEAKO, you will keep making money and growing your channel. There's no doubt about that. You will be a millionaire in the next year. Congratulations on that. But once you stop responding to me and reacting to my videos in your content, no, I will not be watching, because I, like many of those people that used to watch you, I really don't think you're saying anything new. When you're constantly going out of your way to shame people for getting vaccinated, or demean and belittle women for existing, or telling trans people that they aren't real, you're not saying anything.
Okay, so y'all let me know. Like, do y'all think that trans women are women? I mean, I think trans women are men. I think trans men are women. Transitioning to a man, that means you were a woman before, right? You were born a female. You're a trans woman. You were born a man. People need to learn how to become comfortable in their own skin, bro.
New. When you bring a neo-Nazi onto your stream on multiple occasions and do little other than agree with him and...
This is what you have to learn, man. Noah, listen. You're shame. What if we talked about on this channel multiple times? When you speak the truth, they will shame you, call you a neo-Nazi, call you a racist, call you all of these words. That is your coping mechanism. Your coping mechanism is disrespecting Nick Fuentes by calling him a neo-Nazi. Shaming him. That's crazy.
Placate his neo-Nazi rhetoric. Well, you're not saying anything new. And some people will want to watch that, of course. But I am not one of those people. And I don't think it's just because I'm a soy boy. But Who knows? All right, so that's really all I wanted to say today. I recognize that by re-engaging here, I'm totally just playing into this whole WWE online theatrical dudes yelling at other dudes thing. And it is ultimately pretty fucking lame. I have less than zero interest in becoming a recurring character in the canon. But I'll be honest, I definitely was looking forward to making this video because I've been having fun using these to get more practiced at my writing. It's always been an insecurity of mine, my ability to articulate myself and be convincing. And I feel like this is a good exercise in trying to improve those things. Also, I do think that these topics are interesting. And given the state of the internet right now, I feel like there's little harm in engaging with them in the way that I have been. But yeah, anyways, thanks again to Harry's for sponsoring today's video. Go to harrys.com/Noah.
Bro, you already did that. We're gonna get to the next video. We're gonna get to the next video.